What stands out to you about this stadium? You might mention the bold facade or the giant canopy. Or, if you're a resident of Buffalo, New York, you'll probably mention that you're helping to pay for it. But if you're a football fanatic, you'll instantly notice this looks nothing like any other new NFL stadium. Bold, dazzling, almost otherworldly. And then there's new Highmark. Traditional, utilitarian, and seemingly not out of place in any major US city 50 years ago.
And while that might sound like the setup for an insult, trust me, it's not.
With its old-school brick detailing and open-to-the-elements style, new Highmark Stadium is a facility that harkens back to the venues of yesteryear. The question is, why are the Buffalo Bills building a stadium of the past in 2026? With its growing global appeal, you won't be surprised to hear the NFL is the most financially profitable sports league on the planet. Just take a look at the value of its franchises. According to Forbes, the Dallas Cowboys top the worldwide polls with a staggering value of $13 billion. The nearest football or soccer team, if you're across the pond, is the mega giant Real Madrid, which ranks 20th at nearly $7 billion. Of the top 20, an impressive 13 are NFL franchises, and of the top 50, 30 are from the NFL. And there are only 32 teams in the National Football League, so you get the picture. The sport really is rolling in money. But as the game continues its rapid ascension and the eyes of the world start paying more attention to America's game, no, not that one, franchises across the league are under heaps of pressure to keep up. It's why new stadiums have been popping up left, right and centre. The league's newest stadium, set to open in summer 2026, is New Highmark, future home of the Buffalo Bills. The franchise currently plays at one of the oldest facilities in the NFL, the Highmark Stadium.
Renovating it to be ready for the modern day would be extortionate. Real Madrid's stadium renovation, for example, cost $2 billion. You see, depending on the amount of work you're doing, you're basically merging modern amenities into an old structural skeleton, and that skeleton itself may need a refresh.
So a brand new stadium kind of made more sense, although don't go thinking it comes cheap. New Highmark still costs an eye-watering $2.1 billion. For context, Allegiant, which opened in 2020, cost around $1.9 billion. Mercedes-Benz, which opened in 2017, cost about $1.6 billion. And the SoFi Stadium, home to both the Rams and the Chargers, cost around $5 billion. What's worth noting is the massive public investment being put towards New Highmark. A rather unpopular $850 million thanks to local and state taxpayers.
Should taxpayers be expected to pick up that kind of a tab? And where would local and state governments come up with that kind of cash?
It's one of the biggest investments ever made by the public into an NFL stadium, and it doesn't even have a roof.
The argument is that a fresh new stadium adds value to a city. In the long run, it should deliver financial gains by attracting visitors to the area for football matches, gigs, or whatever else is happening at the stadium. But in reality, research suggests that these kind of investments almost never result in economic gains for a city's residents.
Is that frustrating for taxpayers with no interest in football? Yes, absolutely. But until these plans were confirmed, Buffalo Bills were looking to leave Buffalo. After all, it wouldn't be the first team in recent memory to uproot and make for supposedly greener pastures. But now, with New Highmark, the team will stay in Buffalo as they have since 1960. In a car park right across the road from the current stadium, the new Highmark Stadium is now on the rise.
Now, come the weekend, the NFL season will be over and we'll have a new Super Bowl champion. It's a serious accolade that takes years, if not decades, of hard work and forward planning. But for the majority of us who will never compete at professional sports, it's still really important to have goals. Whether it's just to sound more interesting over dinner, or you want to finally get to grips with what AI really means for our planet, there's seriously no better teacher than today's video sponsor, Brilliant. With Brilliant, you don't just come away with the basics, you earn a deeper understanding of subjects like maths, engineering, AI and science. It's all delivered using visual aids and interactive problem solving so you actually learn. But let's be honest, we've all ended up reaching for our phone or looking out the window to see what the neighbours ordered for dinner when we're meant to be focusing on a task. But that won't happen with Brilliant. The app's approach is backed by research that keeps me focused and on the ball. For instance, in the past, if you thought, well, I'm not a maths person, my brain just doesn't work that way, do yourself a favour and give Brilliant a go. The way you learn is so important, and with Brilliant you don't just memorise mind-numbing formulas, you actually get hands-on with concepts until they make sense. It's personalised, research-backed learning that's making me a better thinker, and I genuinely can't recommend it highly enough. But before you go grabbing your free 30-day trial, I first need to tell you why the new Highmark Stadium is such an outlier in the NFL. Don't worry, I'm going to be your accountability partner here, and I will remind you about Brilliant again once we're done. Now, everything we know from modern NFL facilities can be learned from the last 4 most recently opened stadiums. I mean, just look at them. They look like they could be the not-so-secret headquarters of the Avengers or something. From the outside, you'd barely know they were football stadiums. And in all honesty, they're not football stadiums. I mean, they are, but what I mean is they're about a lot more than just football. They're multi-purpose venues built to host concerts, festivals, gigs, Wrestlemania, whatever else might be going on. Basically, they're really big marketing and cash-generating machines.
They're closed to the elements thanks to these spectacular-looking roofs which enable year-round usage. Remember, the football season only runs from September to February, depending on whether your team makes the playoffs. There's a whole 6 months of money to be made while football takes a break. They're clad in glass to create a premium aesthetic, and even the grass isn't really grass. 3 of the 4 most recently opened stadiums feature an artificial playing surface because it's easier to maintain. And then we have new Highmark Stadium, seemingly designed with one key priority.
From day one, it was all about football first, Bills Mafia, designing for the team, designing for the fans. And we never wavered off of that.
Unlike its peers, you'll find no fancy roof, no artificial playing surface, and no crazy-looking exterior facades. You see, punishing weather is all part of the game day experience here.
By far the coldest game I've ever been to in my life.
It's kind of the extra player on the Bills roster, making life difficult for opposition players. Ownership was key to protect the open-air exposure, but critically with some innovative engineering solutions to make sure that new Highmark is in fact a stadium of the future. Although I'm pretty sure that saving millions on a fancy roof probably did play a part in the decision-making. While this stadium may not be following the modern trends set by other new arenas, its tech certainly is designed for the future. Just like you would when arriving for game day, let's start outside the stadium and work our way in. At the base, iron spot bricks form a solid band to give the building a modest grounding. Sprawling vertical elements then give a sense of power and strength.
There's 2 primary materials that we see on the outside of the building. The first is the brick coursing at the pedestrian level. And that ties to a lot of the usage of brick throughout Buffalo. In many ways, it was kind of a brick town in some of the historic architecture. When you kind of zoom out and look at the overall design from further away, you'll notice these kind of depressions in the metal facade. Those depressions are essentially akin to the Odd and Kleinman's Music Hall and some of the historic 1939 buildings in Buffalo.
Now, what we really want to show you on that exterior facade, or the skin of the building, is these. They're the first of a few unique weather deterrents in the armoury. Thousands of perforations cover the 4,400 giant steel panels that span the external facade. Shaped like the Buffalo Bills Charge logo, the gaps serve a very special purpose: wind manipulation. While the stadium is designed to embrace the elements, who wants to sit in a freezing bowl, constantly fending off the cold gusts of Buffalo air? As wind hits the perforations, it enters the gaps and slows, becoming kind of confused. This stops the air flowing over the top of the stadium and circling inside the bowl, making for a bitter and blustery game day experience. And by the way, that doesn't just protect fans from cold conditions. It also means Josh Allen can throw rockets downfield with very little wind interference. But anyone who's been to Buffalo in the winter knows the wind is not the most dramatic weather obstacle.
There's snow everywhere.
The Buffalo Bills, they face the 49ers in a snow-packed stadium.
Leaving the Orchard Park area, we got just over 2 feet of snow.
This stadium was never going to have a roof. This team, this ownership was all about football in December in Buffalo. And, snow is a friend, right? In terms of the home field advantage. That being said, we wanted to keep the fans dry.
The city experiences about 95 inches of snowfall each year, making it one of the snowiest areas in the whole of the US. And while it is a big part of the game day experience here, it's cold, pretty disruptive, and heavy, meaning it takes a toll on the structural elements. That's where the stadium comes into its own. Alongside heating in the precast concrete stands to keep seating areas warm and further heating underneath the pitch, the canopy at the top of the stadium is a lot more than just a steel covering. As it stretches out over the stands from the structural frame, it tapers down and inwards to create a funnel, kind of like a wonky V. When snow falls, sensors detect the change in temperature, automatically activating what Mally describes as the largest snowmelt system in the NFL. Hot water is sent through pipes that wrap around the canopy to melt the snow as it lands and in turn radiate heat down below. It's called a hydronic system. That canopy covers around 60% of all fans, but it has a secondary purpose too. You see, completely open-air stadiums, while still loud, tend to lose some of the game day experience.
But this steel canopy has been specifically angled to trap noise inside the bowl, bouncing it off the steel and reverberating it back through the stands. It's all part of this mission to create the most intimidating atmosphere anywhere in the NFL.
Seating capacity has been stripped back to 60,000 from about 72,000 at the old stadium, with a further 5,000 to 10,000 people able to experience games from a standing-only section. The idea is that standing fans create more noise, leading to a more vibrant atmosphere. Football or soccer fans in the UK at top-level fixtures are starting to experience a similar thing once again with the introduction of new safe standing areas.
There's some stadiums in the NFL where you have like an entire open corner or, there's different seating sections that are not really connected. When you have continuity, you're creating continuity for the fan base. And Bills Mafia wants that. So creating that 360-degree environment creates, this kind of energy amongst the fans, which is really second to none.
In the interest of making the experience more intimidating for visiting teams, the upper seating deck will be the closest to the pitch of any stadium in the league, and it'll feature the closest general admission tickets to the grass.
Call me cliche, but years down the line you might forget the score of a particular game, but you'll remember the way you felt when you were there. And that is what the Bills are trying to capture and create with the new Highmark Stadium. This venue is going to be more intimate than any other in the NFL. It's going to enable fans to get closer to the players, to hear each play call and really feel the energy of the action on the field. And at the end of the day, that is what being a spectator at a live sports event is all about. The Highmark Stadium is impressive, but form follows function. And first and foremost, this is a football stadium.
It's kitted out with groundbreaking engineering, innovative answers to Buffalo's climate, and it's been compared to one of these. But Mally isn't too concerned about that.
It's funny, and I'm smiling because every great stadium arena project that I've personally worked on, there's always been commentary ahead of time before it's built. It looks like this, and somebody says it looks like that. First of all, that's general public, great commentary. It's being talked about. When it's filled and when it opens, all of that will be by the wayside. I'm fully confident in that.
As innovative as all of these additions are, there's no getting around one plain fact. There is no roof. As I mentioned earlier, a roof allows you to host a whole world of other events year-round that snow and rain simply can't be a part of. And as amazing as the engineering behind New Highmark is, it's a stadium that's built to embrace the elements rather than eradicate them. So, will this new stadium ever be able to host football's biggest event?
I think Buffalo, in that type of year might be a little bit tough. Never say never. Drawing people to non-major, cities and locations for Super Bowl is a little bit of a challenge, but my fingers are crossed.
So hosting the Super Bowl may be a no-go, but if truth be told, as we've already made clear, this is a venue built for Bills fans. A topping out ceremony for the steel structure has come and gone, with construction moving into the latter stages ahead of the opening in summer 2026.
And without rubbishing some of the new facilities like SoFi and US Bank Stadium, because let's be honest, they are epic, spectacular feats of architecture and engineering, there's something quite satisfying about the Highmark Stadium being built for football purists. This place looks like it's set to combine the best of the old stadium with new modern tech to very gently and delicately bring the Buffalo Bills and its history into the future.
When you go to New Highmark, you should still get that unique Buffalo game day feeling, but with more than a touch of modern comfort. It'll offer a very different experience to any other new stadium in the NFL, and that in itself should be celebrated.
This video was sponsored by Brilliant. Don't forget to go and check them out at the link below, and remember, it really helps the channel when you guys take the time to go and check out our video sponsors. And as always guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to get more from the definitive video channel for construction, make sure you're subscribed to the B1M.